Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
We're jumping right in today, May 30th, looking at some really interesting sources you've provided.
Yeah, we've got a mix. Some insights on the day's astrology, a tarot focus on card 25, the ring, and also a story. It's called The Circle in the Mist.
And all from the same creator, High C.
That's right. So the plan is to, unpack the key ideas from each of these.
See how they might connect and what they could mean for you today?
Exactly. Explore the energy, the possibilities.
Okay, let's do it. Let's start with the astrology High C lays out. What's the general picture?
So the big headline is the moon moving into Leo.
Ah, Leo moon energy.
Yeah, which tends to really amp up that passion for self-expression. Brings a certain flair.
A bit of drama, maybe?
Definitely a possibility. The source mentions feeling emotional shifts, changes, like a real urge to experiment.
Break out of old patterns.
Precisely. Getting unstuck from old habits. That's a key feeling described.
So the call to action is, be bold.
Pretty much. High C suggests daring to stand out. Wear your heart on your sleeve,
But there's a but, isn't there?
Yeah.
A caution.
Yes, a really important one. With all that expressive energy, words. Words spoken carelessly could be hurtful. It's easy for things to sound dramatic, but the source warns the biggest claims might not be the truest.
Okay, so dramatic claims get attention.
Right, but maybe don't jump on board immediately. The advice is let the dust settle a bit before you commit.
Got it. That's crucial with Leo energy sometimes. What are the specific timings mentioned? Morning.
Okay, so morning, we have the Cancer moon sextile Uranus.
Sextile.
Yeah.
That's usually helpful, right?
Opportunity.
Exactly. It's harmonious. So you get the Cancer moon's emotional flow connecting with Uranus, planet of the unexpected. Could mean creative solutions popping up, maybe finding yourself reacting differently emotionally than you usually would, kind of a break from the script.
Interesting. And the afternoon sounds significant. It really does. The Leo moon then forms another supportive aspect with quite the team, Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto.
Wow, that's a lot of major players.
It's a powerful combination. High C describes it as energy to bring your unique gifts forward, authentically.
With integrity.
Yes, integrity, inspiration, and potentially real transformative impact, like building something solid and meaningful from your self-expression.
Okay, so summing up the astrology. Big energy for self-expression, breaking patterns, maybe making a real impact later today. But be mindful. Watch the words. Be careful about commitments. Don't get swept away by the drama.
You've got it. Boldness tempered with consideration.
That idea of consideration of commitments, that actually leads us right into the tarot insights, doesn't it?
It does, perfectly. The card highlighted is 25, the rune.
The ring. Okay, what's the core message there?
The source connects it directly to cyclical patterns.
Things coming back around.
Exactly. Maybe for healing, maybe for closure. It's that idea, that life moves in circles. Beginnings become endings. Endings birth beginnings.
And High C includes some pretty direct questions for us to think about with this card.
Very direct. Like, are our commitments nourishing or depleting us?
That's a big one.
It is. It asks you to really look at the circles you're in, relationships, habits, promises.
Both to others and, crucially, to yourself.
Yes, absolutely to yourself. Pay attention to those agreements, the source says. Formal ones, informal ones, the ones you just feel.
And ask, do they still serve your spirit?
Right. Or are they draining you? It brings up loyalty, integrity.
Because decisions made now could have lasting effects within these cycles.
That's the implication. Honor your word, yes. Keep promises. But, and this is key in the source material, not at the cost of your authenticity.
Ah, there's that authenticity link again. Align the outer promises with the inner truth.
Exactly. It connects right back to the astrology, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The integrity and self-expression, the caution before committing.
Yeah, it really does. Both seem to point towards examining patterns, commitments, and being true to yourself.
It's like they're circling the same core theme today.
Okay, so let's bring in the third piece, the story, The Circle in the Mist, also from High C. How does this narrative illustrate these ideas?
Well, it introduces a character, Elen, and she goes into this place, the Whispering Glen.
Which is described as sort of outside of normal time?
Yeah, like between the folds of time. A place of cycles, a threshold, very symbolic setting.
She's carrying something.
She is. A piece of old parchment on it, just a single circle she drew.
And that circle means something specific to her.
It represents a promise, one she made to herself a long time ago, the source tells us, back when her world felt kind of small, diminished.
A promise to herself.
Yeah.
Okay, what happens in the Glen?
She finds this clearing, and there are these powerful symbols. A perfect ring of golden light hanging in the mist.
Wow.
An hourglass that flips itself over time, working differently here. An Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail, by an old oak tree.
Symbol of cycles.
Exactly. And a lantern with a flickering but steady flame.
Lots of resonant imagery. What does that ring of light symbolize for Elen, according to the source?
It's presented as representing this unbroken bond she'd kind of neglected.
The promise to herself.
Yes, not a promise to be perfect or please everyone else, but a sacred promise to honor her own spirit, to show up for herself, choose her truth.
Especially when maybe the world discouraged it.
Right. And then comes the key moment.
What does she do?
She takes her parchment, her own circle symbol, and places it right into the light of that golden ring.
Right.
The mist swirls, the air hums, the ring of light starts to turn slowly. And Elen feels this deep shift inside, old cycles unraveling, new ones weaving.
A real transformation.
Definitely. When she gets up, the circle isn't just ink on parchment anymore. It's described as pulsing quietly inside her chest.
The promise renewed, integrated.
Exactly. And as she leaves the Glen, the mist parts for her, clears the way.
That's such a powerful visual. It really shows that journey. Facing the cycles, the old promises, finding guidance in symbols.
And how recommitting to your inner truth, your authenticity, can literally change things internally and clear the path ahead.
Yeah, it brings all the themes together so well.
It really does.
So let's try and connect all these dots now. Astrology, tarot, the story. What are the really big common threads you see running through them for today?
Well, cycles. It's unavoidable, isn't it?
Definitely stands out.
Astrology talks about breaking stuck patterns. Tarot gives us the ring, explicitly about life cycles. And the story is set in a place of cycles, showing them unravel and reweave.
And then promises and commitments. That's huge, too.
Absolutely. The astrology warns us about committing too hastily. The tarot directly asks if our commitments nourish us, talks about honoring our word.
And Ellen's whole journey is centered on renewing that core promise to herself.
Right. And underlying all of that is the theme of authenticity, inner truth.
Yeah, you mentioned that connection earlier.
Astrology. Stand out with integrity. Tarot. Align outer promises with inner truth. Don't sacrifice authenticity. Story. Elen. Choosing her truth, honoring her spirit. It's the glue holding it together.
So if we put it all together, the message seems to be, today's a really potent time for some reflection.
I think so. A good day to look at where you are in your cycles, to really question your commitments, especially the draining ones.
And to connect with and act from your authentic self.
Yeah. The astrology gives the energy, the timing. The tarot provides the framework, the questions. And the story gives this rich, personal example of what that journey can look like.
You know, going back to that astrology caution about dramatic claims versus simple truth,
Mm-hmm.
when you put it next to the tarot and stories focus on inner truth and integrity, it makes you wonder.
How so?
Well, maybe the real power today isn't in the big, loud, dramatic gesture, the Leo performance.
I see where you're going.
Maybe the real power, the real transformation comes from that quieter, internal alignment, that authentic commitment to yourself that Elen finds.
That's a fantastic point. Perhaps High C is suggesting the true strength lies in that internal integrity, not necessarily the external show.
Feels like a really insightful way to look at it. Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. Core messages for today.
Pay attention to cycles popping up again. Take a good, hard look at your commitments to others, yes, but especially to yourself.
And find strength in aligning what you do outwardly with what feels true inwardly.
Exactly. Maybe ask yourself that tarot question. Are my commitments truly nourishing my spirit right now?
And thinking about Ellen's story. Where might you need to renew a promise to yourself? A commitment just to show up for your own truth?
Yeah, where is that needed in your life?
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Ponder this. What if, like Elen discovered in that misty glen, what if truly honoring that sacred promise to your own spirit is the key? The very thing that makes the mist all the confusion, the blocks, the old patterns finally part, revealing a much clearer path forward for you.
A powerful thought to carry through the day.